Hello, everybody. This is Nasirra, and I am the Energy Architect. Today, we have with us Fari, Transformation. Fari, welcome.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you for having me. I love your title, Energy Architect. Brilliant. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for that. And thank you for making the time to talk to us. I know that you have a very busy schedule and you've still made the time. So, really grateful to you for that. And I'm going to give a small introduction so that our audience knows who Fari is. I know Fari for a little while, but the audience would love to know a little bit more about you. So, Fari Transformation is speaking to us from California. In pursuit of her freedom, she left Iran at the age of 21. She embraced both England and America as her home. Driven by her eternal passion for spirituality, health, and fitness of all kinds, she has been a very successful fitness trainer and health and wellness coach. And she has guided clients on paths for over 30 years. With her immense experience comes her wisdom. She now specializes in relationship coaching, mentoring, as well as essential self-love and self-respect. She brings all relationships on all levels, which is your work, family, and romance. And along with the experiences from her adventuresome life, she helps clients to enjoy successful relationships, ones that so far have evaded their grasp. So you can imagine how much of a catalyst Fari actually is. And she has learned these lessons well. And it is her true calling to help others do the same. She is happily married to the love of her life. She coaches and mentors clients who keep repeating the same mistakes and expect different results. She helps people to go from feeling lost and lonely, angry and frustrated, and suffering from imposter syndrome to empowerment and rejuvenating self-love and self-respect. Together, she asks you to discover the gift in your traumas and challenges. Fari, that's quite an introduction. Thank you.
Thank
You've
you.
come a long
You did it really well.
You've come such a long way.
It's been a long road for sure, but it's been a very interesting road as well as being so traumatic. I smiled talking about it, but I surely didn't smile while I was going through it.
I can imagine.
It's always looking back and you say, wow, was that me going through all of that and dealing with it and actually coming out prosperous? Was that me? And you just say, yeah, good girl, you did it. And that's what gets me to be today lovingly and not grudgingly, but very lovingly, be very bold, be very unedited, and say it like it is. And I always say, I think it's on my website too, that it says, if you don't want to hear the truth, don't bother to come to go to Fari. I'm super unedited, but lovingly, because life doesn't have any filter. Agony and problem doesn't have any filter. There is no editing in the trauma. It just hits you. So if you want to undo it and discover your gift in it, you have to be bold and go in it same way.
Oh, that's quite beautiful. When you say that life doesn't come with a filter, yet when you speak about everything that you've gone through, as traumatic as it may have been, what really comes across so strongly is the perspective, your perspective on um, the whole thing that happened, and everything that happened. So this is that really fine difference between the filter and perspective, because you're saying that there is no filter, which is absolutely right. And yet you are so positive just because of this beautiful perspective that you have. And it all comes from a space of love. And this is something that I would like to point out is so rare, because people who've been through trauma, many of them, not all of them, but many of them come from a space of they don't want to remember it anymore. It is so painful that they'd rather sweep it under the carpet. Some of them are unable to overcome it. A lot of them, and people I know very dearly, are very bitter. They're very bitter about it. And there's this unhappiness attached to it. So while these people say that this is the reason for them not rising in life, the way you put it, it's as though this is what empowered me. And this is actually something that made me who I am today. And that is what I find so powerful, just the way you look at it, because it comes from a place of love, and there is absolutely no bitterness or sadness in that. So how do you manage to have this beautiful perspective?
You said a very good thing. You said some people don't want to undo or see or face their trauma, and they just push it under the carpet. Life is all about the choices we make. Life is one big, huge choice. That's why those people that they don't want to face it, they don't want to talk about it, they're choosing to stay the victim of the circumstances. And it comes in many ways. They either become drug addicts, or they drink so much, or they eat so much food, they're overweight. I've hardly seen somebody that eats overweight, because I was one myself. I was a very fat kid growing up. I was eating my emotions, and I couldn't be who I wanted to be. I wasn't allowed to be myself. I had to be the person that my family wanted me to be. So I had no self-identity. I had a family identity, not self. I wasn't even born yet within me, And when you decide to sweep it under the carpet and not face it and not deal with it, it's what turns into anger, frustration, imposter syndrome, feeling inadequate, drugs pumping in all the time in different ways, only because you don't want to face it. All this catastrophe, we bring it to ourselves because of what happened to us, rather than us be willing to face it and clear it once and for all. And that's why the world is, the obesity is taken over. As I said, drug and addiction take over. The other one gets mad and crazy in this part of the world. They get pregnant left and right. I see some women, they have 5 children from 5 different men. None of those men are with the woman. She just gets pregnant because she's angry at her parents. How are you solving the problem except adding on to the problem? And for me was that when I was going through everything that I went through, and I don't think it's even ending now, but I'm a much bigger person to allow it to drag me as much as in the past it did. Now I'm a ball. I hit it, I get it right as it's happening. But it was a choice that I made. Whilst I was suffering at first, I didn't know. But when I did learn about it, and that was all through my prayers. I'm a God lover. I don't believe in any religion, but I'm a God lover. I'm a Mahatma Gandhi lover. I always say that to the person that you and I met through Steve Hardison. I said, Steve Hardison for me is a walking Mahatma Gandhi. If you want to see the change, be the change. That's what he said. And that has been my father used to say that. And he actually met with Mahatma Gandhi. My father died 24 years ago at the age of 105. So when he was much younger, he met Mahatma Gandhi in India. And he was like so taken by him. But at that time, he wasn't my father. He became my father. He married my mom much later in life. But what does that mean to be the change if you want to see the change? That means you have to find out the gift in every catastrophe that there is in life. Otherwise, what happens? I'm that victim. And then when you don't face it, oh, I'm the martyr. The victim mentality is taking over the world. And that's why the coaches come in. Before it was the therapist, and still is. If they have mental issue, yes, I don't know how to deal with bipolar or schizophrenic. I'm not educated. I'm not qualified for it. I'm only qualified to be the coach. But that's a complete different level from the doctors that they are the psychologists and psychiatrists. We're here, but we're very powerfully here because we're talking out of experience. I talk about everything that I went through, turning it around, find the gift in it. And today I'm gifting my gift to others. And I said, look, I did it. This is the way you've got to do it. If you're sick and tired of being sad and upset and frustrated and feeling lonely, basically. And that's a gift. The breathing that we do, this heartbeat that beats in us, this is a gift. What do I do with this gift? Do I nourish it with love and in love? Or do I poison it with all the stuff that I put in my body that makes me become heavy, makes me become alcoholic, makes me become a drug addict? What do I do? Become sexaholic? And people don't even know it, that they are. That's not nourishing this. This is poisoning it. And that's how I look at it. Did I answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Fari, something that you said just now is exactly what the Energy Architect, the podcast, stands for.
Mm-hmm.
Really passionate about getting people unstuck because life happens. Life happens. Right? And
Mm-hmm.
it is this choice that we have and that decision that we make from that point on as to what can I do from this point on. Now, reaching that point, I know is not easy.
No.
A lot of people continue to stay in that and fester in it and become so bitter and they give up on life.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the strength to believe that there is something out there that could be way more better for them. They believe that that's it. That is their full stop.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we avoid such situations? And how How can somebody really find the strength within them, to pull themselves out of it? Because it takes that strength to see it and that awareness as well. How can we get somebody to realize that?
As long as they believe in it, believe and that they are this poor me mentality. Look at what happened to me. So I decide to stay miserable. So I stay down and I don't know what to do anymore and all that. They have to choose that they want to get out of this. As I said, life is all about the choices we make. And it constantly goes back to the choices. When I was going through all of that, I didn't have coaches. I didn't have therapists. I had the Almighty only on my side. I only had one big, huge God in my life. And I said, God, show me the way. How do I go about this? God, show me the way. Please. And I constantly talk to God what to do. The more I said, God, show me the way, the more for me, because I love working out and I inherited that from my father. That became my passion and my job for a zillion years here in California, successfully. But when I said, God, how am I going to do through this and all that? Because when you speak, your spirit talks to the spirit above, and the spirit is not my brain meeting the spirit. My spirit means, because I'm saying, God, I surrender to you. Show me the way. Show me the way. And I constantly say that at the peak of my catastrophe. Show me the way. And when I keep on saying the same thing and believing that there is a God for me, I'm not saying everybody has to believe like me, but I'm saying for myself. And I did. Slowly, but surely, it was like my fitness, the love of working out, became my drug of choice. The more I was frustrated, the more I felt depressed, the more I was angry. Then I went for a fast walk. Then I was running. Then I was in London at that time and it was pouring with rain. It's hard. I would run, I would fall down, but I would get up and go again. And I would go into the recreation swimming, and I'm swimming and I'm just talking to the water and I'm swimming and I'm just going. Whatever is available for any person, any part of the world, the streets are available that you can go walk. No one can say, oh, I don't have a gym or I don't have a pool. You've got the streets. Get up and go out there and walk. And the best meditation is that I don't believe meditation, you have to sit like this to meditate. It never worked for me. Today, when I meditate, for every single morning, I meditate for 20 minutes. Every single morning, I have a dance, arms, move, arm. I am ADHD. I have to move. When I move, everything resonates with me better. My brain calms down as I move, and it allows my heart to connect with my brain. And when I'm meditating, I'm not just sitting like this. I can't do it unless I've done one full session of a yoga and I'm exhausted. Then I can sit for a bit in silence, but I cannot do it first in the morning. So I move and I'm just praising him and I just thank to him and I'm just going this way, that way. And I just say whatever that I need to say that I do it with, And there's this big, huge guy in America. I don't know if you guys heard of him. His name is Tony Robbins, and he does these meditations. Then he gets everybody, like 5,000 people are going like this with their arms and meditating. And some people start running in the middle of the hallways of the sessions that is going on and all of that. And then he goes, that's what I so much love yoga, that because yoga is meditation in movement. And when you do stuff like this and you talk your agonies whilst moving, however way somebody loves to dance, brilliant, do it while you're dancing. Your way opens up to you. And then you start seeing whatever happened to us is not what hurts us as a trauma. The trauma itself doesn't hurt us. It's our thoughts about the trauma that keeps us captured. There is this magnificent man, Dr. Gabor Mate. He's a Jewish guy who was moved to Canada and was born and raised. He's the most successful psychiatrist in the world now, he is. And he's talking about the trauma. And he always says, it's not the trauma. It's not when my father beat the shit out of me when I was 16 years old. He was slapping me left and right. And I had lots of black hair, zipped to my elbow, ton of it, not like now. So much black hair. And he was slapping me and he goes, you don't listen to me. Look. And I just stood there and said, okay, fine, slap me as much as you want. And I was being a rebel. And I thought he's going to stop and say, oh my God, he's not slapping me twice. He's not slapping me 5 times. He's not slapping me 10 times. He's just going until I felt, ow, my neck. And then I'm wet. My nose is bleeding all over me. And my neck just got, and it just something in my neck like really hit me hard. And I started screaming from the top of my head. My mom ran out because they had a massive house. She didn't know what was going on. She came in and she pushed my father and said, the hell with you to my father, because I didn't find her in the street. She's your spam. And my father said, I brought her to this world. I take her out of this world if she's not listening to me, you know. And that's when I decided I will leave Iran because I cannot be who I want to be. My father arrived from work. He said something, I don't even remember what it was. And it wasn't when he hit me that I remember it. It's what it made me feel after it for years. That was the actual trauma, the thought of what was done to me. Do you know? How do you deal with the thought? Just like how Dr. Gabor Mate say, it's the finding of the answer to the problem, not when my father hit me. Number one of the things that he did because of it was like, my father would beat us up. It happened all the time. I decided I will never have a child, and I never had a child because I didn't want to give my kids what was done to me. I didn't want to do it. And I thought, I love to love. And I said, if you have love, give it. It doesn't have to be my flesh and blood. That's why today I'm the best auntie. All my nieces and nephews, they love and adore me. I spoil them to death. And when I get mad at them, I give it to them like hell by words. And I said, you can't do that. I love you, but I'm not allowing you to doormat me and walk all over me. It's a different subject, do you know? And now I have nephews that they're like 49, 41, and now I have a little one who just turned 15. Do you know? But I learned from that. Even when my father was doing that, he was shouting out for love and help. He wanted me to listen to him. He wanted me to hear him. And he wouldn't take my no as an answer. But he didn't know any better how to deal with me. I inherited that from my father. I don't take no as an answer. When you say no to me, I take it as there's something positive in it. Do you know? It's very simple to look at everything and find the positivity out of it. And we don't do that. We just say, did you hear what they said? Did you see what they did to me? Do you see? No, look at what they did to me. And we decide to become a victim of this. Or at the end of the day, I'm the martyr. Look at what they've done to me.
Yeah.
I am like this and that because of that. I have this disc in my neck forever because of how my father beat me that day. But I'm grateful to it because it allows me to take care of my body in a healthy way. And because of that, I became a fantastic trainer to others. I'm a great coach. I hear people in love and I just say, look, if you want me to talk to you, I can only do one way. And that's lovingly be unedited. I don't know how to go around bushes and be nice and polite. I am nice. I'm not impolite, but I say it really straightforward. You know, there are ways to deal with it. Choice is yours. Sweep it under the carpet and keep it as an unwanted gift, or let's go and undo it. And I always say, let go of the burden and let's dig into your inner child in order to step into a new version of you. You have a life to live. We don't know we have 5, 10, 20, 30 years to live. Why should we be miserable forever for what was done in the past? Past is past. Future is unknown. We hope for it. But at this present moment, what do you do with you is the question. The gift is in this moment. Be here now.
I like the way you called it burden, because that's true. When you want to go higher, how are you going to go higher with all this weight on your shoulders?
You're not.
The first thing people do is they want to eliminate that side of. I know some people who are very successful, doing wonderfully well in their life, but their childhood is so painful that they don't talk about it, like how you and I can talk about our pain with pride. I think that it goes into some corner of the body.
Yeah.
And it really does become something else, even though from the outside you look absolutely perfect and successful. If you don't deal with it, if you don't go back and meet your trauma and be done with it and make peace with it, I don't think that allows you to step into the new you that you are meant to be.
No, they won't. Listen, the hospitals are, I don't know in your country, but here the hospitals are packed by cancer patients. The hospitals are packed by stroke, heart attack. When you don't deal with it internally, it eats you up. And it comes and say, hello, I'm the cancer. Keep on with your problems. Now I'm coming as a tumor. The other guy in here, his name is Dr. Daniel Amen, the most famous psychiatrist here as well. He's an Lebanese origin, but he was born and raised in America. Or was he born here? But he's been in America all his life. And he says, it exactly, just like a box that you put your jewelry in it and you box it, you are boxing all these traumas and agony and not touch it, except you box it in your heart. And this guy travels from your heart to your head, from head to your heart. And they travel so much in between each other until they can't any further go with each other. And then it becomes like these cells that they call themselves as cancer. They call themselves as anything, and they come in your body. And always I've said to my clients, speak up. Take this burden off your chest. I mean, let go of burden is humongous. How you let go of burden? By start talking about it. Now, talking about it and feeling as a victim are two different things. I could have said, you know what, my dad beat the shit out of me. And that's being a victim.
Yes.
I said, my father beat the crap out of me. And I am this strong person sitting here today. I was 16 when I got beaten up, or 17. I'm 66 now. I'm a powerhouse. Because of it. People think, oh, if you don't have, you shouldn't have trauma in life. I said, really? Really? It's like trauma to me is like, look at this, visualize a ladder. There's two pieces of metal or wood, and then there are pieces that you put your foot on it to go up, right? Life without trauma is like you have the two pieces, but we don't have those steps. Try to climb those two pieces and go up. You fall off your ass bad many times. But when you put those steps, you go up. Sometimes these steps are shaky and you want to jump on it and you can't, and you still have to put your foot on that shaky one and go up. The trauma is that to have those steps on a ladder and keep on going anyway until you get to the top. I got to the top. And I had shaky ones, but I put my foot on it. I walked on fire to get to the heaven that I've created for myself today. But I couldn't have done it without the presence of God. I am a God lover. Whatever anybody's belief is, stick to it and lift it. Use that to lift yourself up. That's a life with trauma and without the trauma. Go ahead, my love.
The two things that you spoke about that came out so clearly in whatever you said was trust and faith.
Trust in him, trust in yourself.
Yeah.
And trust, when I say trust in him, is not this other something out there which is called God and sometimes waves at you. It's all here. It's all in your heart. Trust in you. Trust in God within you that you can do it. And when you talk about it, that trust in God that you can do it, you are making it happen positively. We are creator of our own lives. Choose misery, you create misery. Choose love, happiness, joy, you create love, happiness, joy. Now there are people come on your way that they want to take you away from your joy. If you connect it to your heart and you know that is not the way that you need to go, you stay in your own path and you go. And you don't involve them. Lots of people come in our lives as our siblings, as our cousins, as our whatever you can think of it. They come to our lives, but not to stay.
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice. You need to stay with yourself first. You have to honor yourself first. You have to lift yourself up first. It's this connection, your heart to the Almighty's connection is what makes you become it. Or not. Or not. It's all about the choices we make.
And something else that's coming out so clearly in whatever you're seeing is, and I also see it that way, when we talk about not just growing, not just something as simple as growing. I'm talking about evolving. And when you're looking at that transformation and evolving, self-love is such a key component.
100%. Self-love means you have your self-love. Nobody else is going to give it to you. And the cliche about it, they always say, I always say, self-love is not your hair color, is not the hair extension, is not the eyelashes, is not all these implants that people put in different part of the body in themselves. Self-love goes deeper than that. All that we do to our hair and makeup and all that is an external self-love. But internally, what do you do for your self-love? Is not shopping for clothes and all of that. Is that moment that you spend for yourself and you do some kind of a workout for you, whatever that may be. It's doing it, writing, journaling, is reading a nice book, taking a deep, long, nice bath, music on. I'm not a person to take baths, but I love to take long showers. I cook, love to cook for my husband and I. For me, that's a part of my self-love. I have music on. If it's not music, there is a book going on Audible I'm listening to. I'm listening to something whilst I am cooking. Everybody will find it in their own way of nourishing your heart and soul. Tell me, if you're keeping this burden of the trauma in the past in you and you're not washing it off, you're not doing anything about it to free yourself from this prison once and for all, how is that called the self-love? You're holding on to something unhealthy. That's self-torment. Why are we doing that? If we believe there is self-love. And how do we do that? At first, it starts from self-forgiveness. We ask everybody, forgive me, forgive me, forgive me. Did that person forgive the other one? But we don't think about ourselves. We have to start forgive ourselves first. For what we've said about ourselves to ourselves, how we look at ourselves, how long we've kept this burden that we call it as our trauma or we call it as our challenges. How long have we been holding on to it? Forgive yourself for doing that and be ready to let it go. But of course, you have to have help. My help, when I was praying so much for it, and I said, God save me, help me. It came in the format of all these massive gurus, Wayne Dyer, Maya Angelou, Ram Dass, reading a ton from Mahatma Gandhi. I love Mahatma Gandhi. All these gurus that I love to learn from, Eckhart Tolle, all these big people that we had, Gary Zukov, and all of them, they became my teachers. Maya Angelou was another teacher for me. And I'm looking at this powerhouse Black woman, and I said, if she made it, I want to learn how to make it. That was my self-care and my self-love to myself. And the more I learned from all these people, Dr. Daniel Amen, Gabor Mate, Steve Hardison, all of these people that I've learned, it has become my biggest tool today to be able to be that coach for others, that you can't do it by yourself. I didn't do it by myself. I had all of these amazing people helping me, lifting me up. So I come from a very rich source of knowledge to heal me, to cure me. I was such an angry person. You couldn't say 2 words about me. I would be screaming at you from the top of my throat. And I needed freedom from the prison of being an angry person.
So beautiful.
And yoga and meditation, my meditation was in the format of movement to this day. Yoga and all of that, all this workout, everything that I've been doing in my life, weightlifting, karate, swimming, Pilates, tremendous amount of yoga from 2005 until 2020, the yoga work closed. So until 2019. When in that place that I was doing yoga, they were on the computer keeping the records on how much you did. Only in that place, I did 8,000 hours of yoga from 2005 till 2019. I was there 5-6 times a week for about 90 minutes. And that's because look at that, the expression came on there because I moved my hand and it gives, did you see it? It went like this on my own screen. I didn't give myself thumbs up. It just the movement and here it creates it. But all of that, the martial art, getting the black belt, kicking and boxing, and punching and kicking and all of that came my powerhouse. I have my pictures up on the wall now. I show you how high I'm kicking. But I was so cruel to myself whilst I was doing it. I had knee surgery. And 5 days later, they said my martial art teacher, his name was Billy Blanks, was a big guy in America with Taibo and a workout that he was on. And I was one of his Taibo girls. They called me and they said, you've got to come. I went on crutches into the studio. They took the crutches and they said, just stand here and just punch. The music went on. The adrenaline kicked in my head, and he came in front of me, and he got his hand up like this, like kick me high. The stitches are on my knees. And then I had to kick because I had no backbone to say I can't kick. I had surgery on me. I was afraid of losing my job. I was afraid, again, like what my father did, if Billy is going to kick me out. I had no backbone. And then he put me down on my knees and the stitches burst open because I had no voice. I didn't know that I mattered. I had to go through that painful path to create the new version of me today, that if my thumb hurts and anybody asks me to do anything, I said, no, it's hurting. I'm taking care of myself.
I love that.
But I didn't do that for the longest time, that it created 7 knee surgeries for me, 4 in my left knee, 3 on the right knee. And then finally, I ended up a year and a half ago, have both knees replaced. So I had 9 knee surgeries from the age 32 until last year when I turned 65. There's a price to pay. I've paid my price. And that's why I say today to everybody, you matter. You're loved. You're a child of God. You matter. Raise your voice. Speak up. God speaks to you and I loudly. Why don't you speak up? Let go of the burden. Meet that inner child and let's create a new version of you. It's that simple. But it wasn't simple while I was going through all that headache because I felt lonely. I didn't have anyone to lean on until I started digging when I realized, oh, perhaps I can have a voice. They always say when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. When I felt I can have a voice, the teachers were bombarded on my way and they came to me and I grasped them all wholeheartedly. Mother Teresa was the biggest teacher for me. I adored her. Lady Diana, another teacher. I served Lady Diana in England in my boutique. It was like literally God walked into my shop. And I will never forget that moment. So I've paid the price of not having a voice and then the joy of finding my voice. But I had to let go of the burden first. Meet that inner child who was suffocating in me in order to create the new version of myself.
Very, very eloquently put.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Because the way you've put it is like you've linked fear with your inner child. And you also spoke about your journey and how the love for yourself or the lack of love for yourself made you pay the price for not loving yourself. And it stemmed from fear. It stemmed from fear. And that is the root of it, right? That's the root of it. And when you talk about fear and, loving yourself, I think when you slowly start loving yourself,
Mhm.
one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, even not knowing where you're headed, just the fact that I deserve better, that I love myself enough to do something about it. That decision of, I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm going to go out of this.
See what you
And
just said? I want to go out of this. That's the beginning of the letting go of your burden. That's what I mean. That's how you start letting go of burden. You acknowledge that you are suffocating from this thing in you that is eating you up or has been eating you up for so long. You say, I don't know how, but I am now willing to let go and I'm looking for ways. That's to unburden you. That's to let go of a burden. The minute you say that to yourself, watch and see how the universe opens the door to you. By now, the journey starts to go, okay, let's go to when you were 5 years old, when you were 6 years old. What do you remember when you were 8 years old? Whatever trauma is traumatic to you, how old were you? What happened? When did it happen? And then questions after that comes in that, is it really true what you say? And they say, yes. And is it really true? And most of the time they say no. Our thoughts of what happened to us, it makes this bigger than what it is. I don't underestimate when people are being raped, when people are being beaten up physically and verbally, like myself. I don't underestimate anything when the person was chained down in a closet for a few days. That's not little. These are all there. But what that person felt for a long time after in her head, what she created or he created after being chained in there, starving, that needs to be cleared. Trauma is not small. Challenges are not little. They're humongous. I never underestimate anybody's trauma, and I never judge anyone for what I don't care if the person says, listen, I killed my mother, I shoot somebody out there, I raped this and that. It's not for me to judge. It's for me to hear and love and say, let's create a new love you. That person is beating themselves up already for what they've done. Why am I adding on to it? They're not coming for me to judge them and give them a title. You're a son of a bitch, this, that. No, I'm done with that. That's not in my crime. That's not my job. And we judge ourselves more and worse than anybody else that comes to us.
So the first step is probably to look fear in the face, in the eye, and say, you exist, but I will still do it because I love myself. And I have this trust and this faith that I deserve better. And even if you don't believe in yourself at that point, just that faith that you will get out of it if you confront that fear, because there is a way out and you have to create that way for yourself. Now, a lot of people actually do that. You know, they not a lot, but many of them will reach that point where they will confront their fear and somehow get out of that situation because
Yes.
they start loving themselves. They love themselves and then they start seeing the success. But what I'm trying to get to over here is that they don't close the loop in the sense that true healing doesn't happen, because true healing will not happen without forgiveness. So
Everything starts from forgiveness.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
you take that step, that the thing of getting out of it. And then you reach that point where, like, now I am successful. That's the point that, like, not success for people could be in different terms. Success for everybody could be in their own understanding or their own thing of success, right? But then after that, to get out of that entire victim mode, okay, it's like really leaving that behind you.
Right.
Right? And moving on to the stage of I am free and I don't carry that burden anymore. And I think that only comes from very deep mindfulness, self love, introspection, trust, and forgiveness. Because without forgiveness, I don't think we can really close a loop in that.
When we say trust and forgive, it should be, to me, it should be the other way around. Forgive and then trust. If you don't forgive yourself first, you don't open the doorway for trust. When you're in this doubt, when you live in this world of fear, when I just said, when they said somebody is perfectionist, because I'm not such a perfectionist, I said, what's behind the perfection? Yeah, but if they said, so you're afraid, if it's fear, isn't it? Yeah, they're going to say this, and no, it has to be. And I said, perfectionism is based and it gets fed from the fear. There's this pot of fear, and you plant perfectionism in it. The more you're fearful, the more you feed your perfectionism. Oh no, my house has to be like that. No, my hair has to be like that. My makeup, is that draw line in here like that? Oh, is this straight? Perfectionism gets fed from fear.
Yes.
And for as long as we're perfectionist, we are feeding from the place of fear. We cannot forgive ourselves. Even that needs forgiveness. Acknowledge it first. Confess it next to yourself, and then forgive yourself so you can let it go. Acknowledgement is always first. Once I acknowledge it, then now I confess it. And then I say, okay, now I forgive myself. Then I open the doorway of these two to meet each other for trust to come in. It's a long way away if you want to take a long road, or it can happen immediately. But at happening immediately, how do we keep it is the consistency on your meditation on it. And no, meditation is not just this. Meditation, the guy gets on a horse and goes for horseback riding, is meditating. When I jump in the pool and I'm swimming, I'm meditating. When I'm pumping up iron, I'm meditating. Somebody goes for a walk, that's meditation. When I do yoga, it's a different world for me. When I'm doing my yoga, you can explode a bomb next to me. I don't know where I am, but I'm not there. All of that is a gift to us. But we chose to stay to the fear. And it's when we allow that fear to go by acknowledging it, confessing it, and then forgiving ourselves, then the doorway opens up. Then we grow bigger than this world. Then you meet the inner God within you, the Almighty.
And I can only imagine how high somebody can soar if they're not carrying that burden.
And it's not easy to do it by yourself. It really isn't. It's just not. It's just like you can go and buy a hair color and put it in your own route and say it looks great. But when you go to a hairdresser and they do it, and then they just make it so much prettier after and all that, and you come out and say, wow, there's a huge difference. So you can do it by yourself. You go a longer road like I did until I got to all those amazing people. Or that's what the coaches come in to guide the way, to clear the way, to hold your hand like a little kid that stands, falls, stands, and then you hold on to their hands and you take them. In America, sometimes they put a leash on a child because they go really like crazy fast, but the child is walking, but they have a leash. Do you guys have it too? They put a leash on it and they hold it. It's like that. We become the flashlight to lighten the way for people to say, look, I went that way. It was awful. I am telling you, let me help you so you don't go my painful path. You don't have to. I paid the price, that's enough.
So how is it that one can actually reach out to you, Fari? Because I know that in terms of transformation, in terms of this entire connection between this alignment of the mind, the body, because of your fitness and really your soul purpose, because of the depth uh, of knowledge and experience that you have. I'm sure that a lot of people would benefit talking to you.
Definitely. I'd love to. I have a PDF as a freebie that I will send it to yours, and you can share it if anybody wants it. You can give it to them, and it's again, that PDF was the freebie was made on my own experience, that it was from destruction to construction, and also my website is the best thing, and it's www. Transformation is one word, there is no space, faritransformation.com. They welcome to go to my website, and they can always make an appointment from my website, and the Calendly is connected, so they can book with me. But my website gives a lot of details about me, and everything I do, it quickly goes there in testimonials and all of that. It's there. And yeah, www.faritransformation.com is the best way to get hold of me. They can always email me, but if you've never received the email from somebody, it goes to spam always. But Fari Transformation is Faritransformation.com. It's my email address as well. And these are the two quickest way, but the website is always very available everywhere.
And because I am the energy architect, I have to ask you this. What is the secret of Fari's energy?
The secret of my energy really is the consistency in my workout that always goes alongside my prayers and my meditation. Because prayers is always like what you're asking from above. Meditation is when you're open and you're receiving. So when I'm working out all the time, like last night, are you familiar with pickleball? You know what pickleball is?
No, not really.
Pickleball is like think of a tennis court, but a very
Okay.
court with four
Got
people
it.
in it, with a different ball, with a plastic ball. It is so fast. You turn your head away, the ball is hit you somewhere. It's really fast. You can't even blink. So we play pickleball, and last night in the middle of pickleball, I just realized I'm just going left, and I'm just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I look at people that they're there to play, and I'm just saying, thank you, thank you. And I was in this zone of my oneness with the Almighty. I so thank him at all time. I thank him for this minute. I thank him that I met you. Everything, I have a sip to my coffee and I say thank you. It's always gratitude. And I could have easily missed all of that and not have it. Being grateful and also being a giver. I love the idea of giving and not expecting. Just give. I buy a t-shirt goes out of the door. I buy a pillow goes out of the door. And if anything stays in my home more than a year that is not being used, it's given away. Giving is very much rejuvenating and gratitude.
I can see how gratitude is so much a part of your being.
100%. Gratefulness is the key. I would have never known I'd be meeting a precious soul like yourself 6 months ago. But I prayed and then I thanked God for great spirits that is coming on my way. You, the person that I'm on her podcast, she just texted me, see you at 11 o'clock, hour and a half. I'm meeting the most incredible souls as the podcasters, as my clients and all that. And I just think, God, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Had I known 30 years ago all that problem that I was going through has such a fabulous outcome, I'd be smiling at all the problems. And that's why I say today to everybody, smile at them instead of cursing at them. There's a gift. That's my gift today. To be here sitting with you today, it's my gift. I am grateful from my heart to be where I am today. But if I wasn't grateful, it wouldn't have happened.
Thank you so much, Fari, because I'd like to really acknowledge you for the love that you bring in,
Yes.
for the gratitude, for just your positivity and your simplicity, and this profound wisdom that you have applied for yourself and how you help others see that for themselves. I wish you so much power.
Thank you.
And
Blessing to you.
I'm
Same
really
back at
grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
I know
Thank
that
you.
you and I are going to be friends forever.
Oh, bless you. Thank
You
you.
know that. You know. Once we move to our new home, I'll invite you come over to America. It'd be great to
Yes,
see you from close. Blessings to you,
I love
sweetheart.
that. Thank you so
Have a
much.
thank you,
Thank
my
you.
love.
So this is Nasirra again, the energy architect. Thank you, Fari. It's been such a pleasure having you. And I'm going to be signing off right now. Thank you. Atma Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.